Hey there, I'm August, and did you know that I'm not an Ironman? Like the title says, I made an Alt1 app. Now, let's go over what Alt1 is, what its apps are, how to get them, and finally, how you can use the app that I made. Alt1 is similar to RuneLite, but for RS3. Its power is a fraction of RuneLite, though, as until we get API support later this year, it cannot access any information or write any information to the game. It can only see what you see on your screen and basically take screenshots and compare pixels. An Alt1 app is basically just a website that loads within the Alt1 program that has special permissions to display things to your client. They're primarily written in HTML and JavaScript. Firstly, to start, you'll need to download Alt1 from runeapps.org. It comes with a large amount of default apps that can help you with all sort of basic utilities within the game. Here you can see a list of all the different ones that come base, as well as some other utilities. After you have Alt1, I do recommend that you go and check out the third party's app page, as it contains user-made apps which go even further in usability over the base set of apps. My personal favorite on my Ironman was Sus Alert, which made the Croesus grind a lot more bearable. Now, to add custom apps, you can either click on a custom link, which will pull up the Alt1 Add App menu, as seen here, or you can open the app within the browser in Alt1. So for instance, if we decide not to download it, we can take this link, go into Alt1, open the browser, and we can paste in that link. And doing so will load up the app within here, and it will also give you the option to add the app within the menu. An alternative is to open the app within your chosen browser, but just be aware that if you're not adding the app to Alt1 itself, some features will not work, as they rely on permissions that need to be granted. Here you can see it needs to get the game state, view the screen, and show an overlay for this app to work. So if we accept all of them and confirm, now this app will go ahead and load, and it's going to be reading my chat box, trying to see the message that Croesus will send when the game is starting. Now let's look at the app that I made and show off how to start using it. First, we will go to the link that I have in the description, and you can either paste it into your browser or open it within the Alt1 browser. It'll open up the menu panel to ask for permissions which are required to run the app. Note that these permissions will never be able to see any information about your client nor your account. It is entirely surface level, like taking screenshots and getting keybind information. Once you have accepted all the permissions, the app will be installed. Once installed, you can open it up here at the top menu by finding it and selecting it. If by any reason you made a mistake and did not give the app full permissions, you can open the settings here and change the permissions at any time through the settings. You'll see here the permissions that are granted. This means they are required. To show how the app actually works, let's open it up, and you'll notice a large list of different bosses, enemies, and things like that. I didn't feel like loading a bunch of images, so I just have emojis. I tried making them as close as I could realistically to what makes sense. Not all of them are perfect. I may change that in the future, but just as an example. So the way that this works is we can right click on an enemy, hover over the word examine, hold Alt and press 1. And in doing so, it's going to load that enemy into the NPC drop table. This fetches the Wikipedia page and gives us all the drops for that enemy. So this is functionally identical to if we had loaded up the actual wiki page for that enemy itself. So for example, if we pulled it up here, we look up jail guard, we can scroll down and see the only drops you can get are a 100% chance of getting bones. So another one we can look at here is the Black Knight. Let's go ahead and look into it. It'll show an image of the enemy up here at the left, so you can make sure you have the right enemy. And we can see here a list of all the drops and their drop rates. And then all the rest here, you can get runes and ammunition, you can get herbs, beads, stone spirits, salvage, and other items. One thing that does happen is if a list has over 25 items, I made it automatically collapsed. That way it is not overwhelming, but this is where you'd have things like the rare drop table and other things like that. The drop rates are pretty ridiculous. You'll notice some of them are duplicated because it's different tiers of the page. We just ignore that for now. It works about 90%. There are some weird ones, and one thing you'll also notice is when it comes to charms, I don't know why I've been fighting with it trying to get to work, but the drop rates will not come in. I don't know why, but as of right now, it doesn't work. But what does work is if we wanted to go get gold charms, for instance, we should be able to select it and it'll pull up in the item sources page. Now, this does the same thing inversely. It goes to the gold charm page and gives a drop down list of all of the enemies that give that item. It goes in drop order. So if it always drops it, it'll show first. And if it almost never drops it, it'll be at the end. So here you'll see a good source would be killing rock crabs. You can get them pretty commonly at a quantity of 3. Now, in the same way, if we wanted to then see, okay, it drops gold charms, what else does it drop? We'll select it here, and it'll load it into the NPC drop page, and we can now look at all the other drops that it has. And still, you'll see here, it does have it for some items. That's the current bug. We're going to iron that out later. As of right now, this works for a majority of items in the game as well, for things that are, I'd say, mostly normal. If you have an item that you want to find the drop table for, you can go ahead and examine it off of here. It'll show you places where you can get it commonly or uncommonly, and it will give you an entire list. So let's check out how we get it on the fetid zombie. Here we go, 12 out of 100. Now, whichever page you're on is where it will search for it. So if you're hypothetically looking for it on here, it will pull it up in the NPC drops. I'm currently trying to find ways to make it auto detect, but I'm having issues with that currently. So one thing to note is that this uses optical character recognition, meaning that whenever it is trying to read the letters, what it's actually doing is taking a small screenshot and looking at the text. Now here you'll see that it thinks that the O is actually the letter D. So all I have to do is correct the issue there, and it loads up normally. The issue is there's no better way to do this. Until we have API support to actually get the text, it has to be done through OCR. We can also see here in the debug log what it actually is thinking it is looking at. So here it's thinking DAK. I hope this has been at least interesting, and if you give it a shot, let me know in the comments what you think I could add to this or change about it to make it more useful for you. And if you have any other ideas for plugins that you think would be really helpful, whether it's through the new API setup or through the Alt1 subsystem, let me know, and I'd be more than happy to start trying to make some apps for it.